everybody that I would show you my video of my interview with RT in Espanol, so I'm going to start with that. I don't think I'll get in trouble for playing it. I don't know. It's me, so hopefully not, but it is them. They're broadcasters. So if I get kicked off of YouTube for this, then, between 99 Luft Balloons and this, then it should be interesting. So let me pull that up. I'm going to play my little segment real quick. Let me see. Okay. Make it full screen.
Brian decidió criar gallinas en su jardín hace 3 años con la llegada de la pandemia. Desde entonces ha formado un grupo de ciudadanos que busca cambiar la ley local, actualmente con algunas restricciones, para que más gente pueda hacerlo. Asegura que en los últimos meses cada vez son más quienes le preguntan qué hay que hacer para tener gallinas en casa. El motivo, el precio de los huevos y la escasez de los mismos en algunos supermercados.
Me alegro de que tengamos suficientes huevos, incluso en invierno, que al menos nosotros podamos tener nuestros huevos en el invierno, los fines de semana principalmente, y cuando tenemos que pasar por la sección de huevos del supermercado, digamos, gracias a Dios, que no tenemos que pagar $6 por una docena.
El precio de los huevos, un alimento básico en la dieta estadounidense, se ha disparado a niveles históricamente altos en 2022. Solo en un año ha aumentado un 60%. Es una de las mayores crecidas porcentuales de bienes o servicios de Estados Unidos, según el índice de precios al consumidor. Charlie tiene
I was muted. But yeah, that was it. I hope you all got a chuckle out of that. Never thought I'd be dubbed in Spanish, but here we are. And honestly, I can't even remember what I was saying when the interview was much longer than what they aired. So I don't even remember what I was saying at that point. My son and my dog were running around while the interview was going, so I was distracted the entire time anyway. But yeah, you got to see some of my chickens. Got to see the mess in my backyard that is in the winter. So let's get right into the serious stuff. Big news today. It's been all over the place. Everybody's talking about it, and it's Baltimore County's plastic bag ban. This is a bill, and I have the bill. It's going to be all in the show notes, as always. It's called the Bring Your Own Bag Act. I read through the entire bill. I mean, it's not that long. It's 6 pages. And pretty much what it is, as it's written here, is saying that plastic bags are going to essentially be illegal. Any store that gets caught giving them out to customers will be fined $500 per infraction. An infraction is 1 or more bags given out at a single point of sale system. So if you had 7, registers in your store and all 7 were giving out plastic bags, that's 7 infractions, and you're looking at a $35,000 or $3,500 fine, and you have 7 days to correct it. Now, there are things that are exempt from this proposed law in Baltimore County. The first ones being what is being the plastic bags being used for. So plastic carryout bag does not include a plastic bag used to package bulk items including fruit, vegetables, nuts, grains, candy, or small hardware items. Contain or wrap frozen foods, meat, or fish, whether prepackaged or not. Contain or wrap flowers, potted plants, or other damp items. Contain unwrapped prepared foods or bakery goods. Contain garments or dry clean clothes, including suits, jackets, and dresses, or live fish, insects, mollusks, crustaceans from any retail establishment. And any bag provided by a food service facility that is necessary to meet food safety and contamination standards. And it's mostly the stores that are mostly being or will be affected by this are like your retail stores. So, where you buy clothes or non-food things. For the most part, grocery stores are kind of exempt. They can't give you a plastic bag to walk out with. But other things can be in plastic bags, like what I stated above. And what they're doing is they want to charge 10 cents for a minimum of 10 cents for every paper bag or reusable bag. Now, I have a friend who is in the county council meeting as we speak. And it sounds like a lot of the council members aren't fully down with it. So it's looking like the amendments so far are reducing the fee from 10 cents to 5 cents per bag and an exemption to farmers markets. So that's the most recent updates that I have. That was 26 minutes ago that I got the text. So they're already changing it from how it was introduced on the floor. So it's looking like it's going to pass, but it's not going to be as bad as they were saying. And there's one more thing that I really wanted to bring to light with this proposed bill. I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember. Oh, so one is that the money from the sale of these bags is not going to the store. They don't explicitly say where the money's going to go. We all know it's going to go to the government. But the money's not going back to the store, and it's not going back to the customer in a buyback program, like how some states do with like glass bottles and plastic bottles. But there are certain groups of people that are exempt from having to buy these bags. Here it says a retail establishment may not collect a charge required under subsection B of this section from a customer who uses state or federal supplemental nutrition assistance SNAP program, food coupons, or other type of allotment issued under U.S. Code 2011-2036, or with food instruments, food vouchers, other type of certificate issued under United States Code 1786, which is the special supplemental food program for women, infants, and children, or people with pandemic electronic benefit transfer, which is acronym is PEBT, for any part of the transaction. So they're already, between the amendments that I've been updated on and what's written out in the bill, it's just going to hit the middle class. Like just most things, it's going to hit the middle class. I know, like, if you ever shop at Aldi and you don't bring your own reusable bags, they sell you paper bags. So there's already grocery stores doing this, and it's not being enforced by the government. So honestly, if the fix to this, it's too late now, but the fix to this would be to grocery stores just sell their paper bags, and for cost, maybe, and just not give them out, and not give out plastic bags anymore. But unfortunately, the Baltimore County Council feels like they need to get involved and tell businesses what they need to do with their business. So we'll hopefully by the time this ends, we'll get some more updates, and when I get something, I'll let you all know. But yeah, I have a buddy in the county council meeting right now, and I asked him to provide me with updates because I can't watch the stream because I'm doing this. Okay. So to Anne Arundel County, which is my county, which I'm definitely prejudiced for because it's my county. And I really wanted to go over relatively quickly, because it's not that confusing, of how the county council actually works. how bills get introduced, how they get passed, the time frames that are allowed, how the public can have their say in things, and how the public can actually get bills introduced to the county council. So a single council person can bring a proposed bill to the council. So, out of the 7 districts that there are, one of them can bring a bill to the floor. Once that bill gets brought to the floor and it's read on the floor, they have a minimum of 2 weeks, which is pretty much the amount of time to the next meeting to vote on the proposed bill. For the most part, it looks like it's about a month from introduction to the voting period, at least for the few bills that are getting voted on tonight. And if a bill is introduced by the county executive, there's usually a panel from county employees that speak on behalf of the bill. So they would be considered subject experts on whatever is being introduced. And they'll talk about it, take questions from the council, take questions from the public on whatever the subject may be. And if the public wishes for a bill to be changed or added, the public would have to get a county council person to sponsor the bill. So this would you can bring it up at a county council meeting, right? But at some point you're going to have to try to have an appointment with the person that you think would actually take up the bill. And they'll have to sponsor the bill. They probably want you to kind of write it out, and then they'll word it to how it has to be. But then if a county council member decides to take up the bill or sponsor the bill, if you have a group of people that you're working with to get this done, you would usually, your group would be considered the subject experts in this. And then you'll become the panel. You'll get asked questions by the council and the public, just as if you were a county employee, when the county executive introduced the bill. And then it'll go to a vote eventually. It could be that night. It could be at a later date. There could be more public hearings about it. So that's how the county council works. It's pretty straightforward. And if you want something changed, you're going to have to befriend a county council member. That's what it comes down to. I know for me and my chicken advocacy, I actually finally started a Facebook group. I'll add that in the show notes. If you're in Anne Arundel County and you believe in chicken owners' rights, please join the coalition. It's called the Anne Arundel County Backyard Chicken Coalition. It's a group on Facebook. It's not like a 501c3 or anything. I'm not going to try to do that if I don't have to. I'm trying to avoid all of that mess because you need a chairman, you need a treasurer, you need a secretary, you have to have a bank account, you have to do all this stuff. I just want a group of people that are passionate about this and kind of speak semi-regularly to the county council and be willing to be on a panel if it comes to that. Because when it comes to chicken owning, it's a zoning issue, not like a agricultural issue or a health issue. So it's in that realm of like a boring kind of thing because it is a zoning issue. So I'm going to need a good group of people that are just hardcore about this, can put their nose to the grindstone and bust this out. If it's just me, then it's just me. But please, if you're in Anne Arundel County and you believe in chickens owners' rights, then join the Anne Arundel County Backyard Chicken Coalition. It's AACo, Backyard Chicken Coalition. It's a group. It's a public group. You don't need to answer any questions or anything to join. Just join it. And you'll actually see a picture of one of my chicks, Flower. She still is just as grumpy as she looks in the picture. The Anne Arundel County Council is actually meeting tonight as well. and they have two bills that they're voting on tonight. It's Bill 1-23. This is the bill about continuing outdoor dining, taking up street space, essentially for extended dining area for restaurants. And then the second one is Bill 2-23, and this is for a little tiny chunk of property. It's 0.058 acres on the north side of Overley Drive in Severna Park that the county owns, and they want to give it to Chessie Homes LLC, which I had to guess is probably just a construction company, developer. Let me see. Chessie Homes, yeah, real estate developer. So this real estate developer wants to buy a little slice of land from the county, probably to fit one more house in there. So those are the two bills being voted on tonight, and it probably won't be done for a while. They go until 11:30 at night. So I'll update everybody once those votes come in, probably tomorrow. And again, I'm going to ask you if you're watching this and you're in a county, even Anne Arundel County, and there's an issue that's being brought up by your county council and you want it brought to more light, or you'd like me to speak about it, reach out to me. I'll research and discuss it. And if you know what you're talking about, I would love to have you on. You want people who are educated and into the bill, into the subject matter, to speak. So I will yield the floor to you, and you can talk about it. That's what I have for local stuff. Sorry if I keep kind of coughing. I'm getting over a little chest cold. Okay, so let's move on to some state things that have come to light these past couple of days. So, Wes Moore, Brandon Scott, Anthony Brown, and Ivan Bates had a closed-door meeting last week, which seems to be all the rage this legislative session between school boards and your governor and city mayor and attorney general and state's attorney. So it's really good. So they had a closed-door meeting. They didn't let any media in. There were other people that weren't part of the discussion, but they were invited to listen in. And pretty much what these four gentlemen were talking about, this was on February 3rd, so that was Friday. They were pretty much talking about public safety. Public safety is a huge issue, as everybody knows, in Baltimore City. And frankly, the mayor, Brandon Scott, does not know how to handle it at this point. He's tried intervening with those groups that conflict resolution groups and things like that, and it doesn't seem to be helping a whole lot. He will give you examples of when it has stopped violence, but it hasn't helped at all. We actually had our fourth juvenile murdered last night in Baltimore City, 16-year-old. So I have this article from afro.com. Every article I looked at pretty much were saying the same things. And it was the first time that the leaders convened as a group to connect desperate law enforcement agencies and justice system components with the goal of improving public safety outcome for city residents. So this is really just focused on Baltimore City, which there's crime elsewhere throughout the state, but it's really bad in the city, as we all know. Governor Wes Moore said, "A strong Baltimore is key to a thriving Maryland. Protecting our residents requires a collaborative effort, and this is just the beginning of our powerful partnership. Together, we will restore our communities, restore faith in our criminal justice system, and provide access to support, services, and interventions that will improve the overall quality of life for Marylanders. They pretty much discuss what their roles are in the criminal justice system, the kind of interventions that need to take place, the importance of constitutional enforcement, which is that was a nice line to read, that they're at least saying they're going to follow the Constitution. Attorney General Anthony Brown said, "Today we have the opportunity to reimagine public safety and generate new strategies that address the need for Marylanders to feel safe." Mayor Scott again says later in the article that, they can't police their way and convict their way to a safer Baltimore. They need community intervention, but they still don't know how that's going to work. The squeegee program that they set up a couple months ago isn't working, so everything that they try just is an utter failure. So hopefully between these four gentlemen, they can get crime down in Baltimore, but honestly, I don't think any of that's going to happen until we take a good hard look at the war on drugs, disproportionately affecting black males still to this day. And then you have a lot of these Democrats that want to take our gun rights that were just given back to us by the Supreme Court. So they want to do things that look and sound good, but don't actually help. So everybody's been kind of asking, what is Wes Moore's plan? At least this first legislative session. And we finally got some answers. I think this first or second episode I talked about his economic plan, and the big one that he's going to be pushing is accelerate the state schedule minimum wage hike so it hits $15 per hour in October instead of in 2 years. And much like the gas tax that the Democrats passed to match increases in inflation, he would like to do the same with the minimum wage. He proposed capping the increase at 5% per year, even if inflation is higher. The plan leaves in place a tool to suspend the automatic increases if the employee goes the economy goes haywire. The Board of Public Works, a 3-member spending panel composed of the governor, the comptroller, and the treasurer, retains its ability to suspend automatic increases if the labor market shrinks. Maryland is one of the 30 states with a minimum wage above the federal minimum of $7.25 an hour. And 18 states have an automatic increase tied to some type of index. Moore's budget includes $413 million to pay state contractors if the $15 minimum wage increase is implemented 2 years early. So more spending of the money. So he's already allocated all the surplus money that the state has, so it's a matter of time before taxes increase, as we expected. The next one is Moore proposed offering recent high school graduates a 1-year opportunity to be paid for doing public service, either for the government or for another nonprofit. His legislation would create a state agency to administer the program and broadly lays out how it would work. Young people would work about 30 hours a week in a job focused on climate, education, or health, earning $15 an hour and receiving a $3,000 stipend for completing the program, which would include a mentor who does career coaching and teaches financial literacy. Moore proposes to start with 200 participants in the first year and have 2,000 by the fourth. Cost $18 million. Extended cash payments to the working poor. A UBI. Yeah, Moore wants to implement a UBI. Remember when I said we're going to turn into California? Well, yeah, here we go. He's already talking about it. First month in office. During the pandemic, Maryland used federal cash to dramatically expand one of the most effective anti-poverty tools, the Earned Income Tax Credit, which offers a lump sum to low-income people with jobs. The money is calculated on a sliding scale based on income and household size, and it sometimes exceeds how much the person owed in taxes. Maryland made its program one of the most generous in the country and extended it to certain immigrants blocked from receiving other aid. Moore wants to make permanent what was a temporary expansion scheduled to the end of this year. The governor also wants to make a $500 tax credit available to all families with children under age 6 that earn $15,000 or less. If you make less than $15,000 a year, you are essentially doing nothing. $15,000. Let's do some quick math. Let me pull up the calculator real quick. Because $15,000 a year is, you're not working, essentially. You are just straight up not working. Calculator, where are you? I never use it on here. Here it is. You're bringing in $1,230 a month. And that is, let's see. I don't understand how that's possible. If you go to work every day, you can't make less than $22,000. Because at $15,000 a year, if you worked 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, you're making $5.12 an hour, which is lower than the current minimum wage of $7.25. At $7.25 an hour, 40 hours a week, $290. You should be bringing in $1,160 a month. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell people, but work a full-time job and you make more than that. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe by setting at $15,000, people that work full-time at minimum wage won't get the tax credit. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. The cost is going to be $171 million. Subsidize electric trucks. Here we go. California again. It would extend a rebate set to expire this year that covers 40% of the cost of installing charging stations, capped at $700 for individuals and $4,000 for businesses. It wants businesses to upgrade to electric trucks, and the state would cover the full cost difference between buying a conventional vehicle and a zero emission electric one. No estimated cost by the legislative analysts. So who knows how much that is going to cost? Not just the state and the taxpayer, but private businesses as well. Free healthcare for the Maryland National Guard. Moore proposes that taxpayers pick up the healthcare tab for active duty members of the Maryland National Guard and their families rather than splitting the cost between the government and employees. $5 million per year. I mean, that's okay, right? In the grand scheme of things, that's not the worst thing. Extended tax breaks for more veterans. This is coming from him because he was a veteran. He wants to expand an existing tax break for veterans over 55 to include younger ones as well as exempt up to $40,000 in military retirement income from state taxes. Currently, the first $15,000 of military income is exempt for veterans 55 and older. This will cost the state $30 million per year. Tax breaks for broadband expansion. No estimated cost yet. His legislation would exempt from sales tax for the next 5 years any of the equipment used to expand broadband, including modems and fiber optic cables, as well as exempt companies spending federal grants from paying state taxes on the grant money. Incentives for banks to operate in low-income neighborhoods. Don't know how that's going to work. Pilot program for technology infrastructure at a cost of $10 million per year. The governor pitched giving grants up to $2 million to companies, local governments, universities, and nonprofits that invest in building infrastructure to help expand the technology sector. The 4-year pilot program is complicated, but some examples of projects that could receive state funding include wet labs that handle hazardous material, cybersecurity facilities, and prototype manufacturing centers. So, really, the majority of these they're very socialist. Some would say communist ideals. It's giving out a lot of money, which isn't free because somebody's paying for it, and it's us, primarily the middle class. So yeah, that's not looking too good. Not looking forward to pretty much any of that. Now, on to the state legislation. There's a couple bills that I wanted to talk about. The first one, let me close this out real quick. The first one is House Bill 38, and this is no-knock warrants. It was sponsored by Delegate Severo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Out of Montgomery County. The committee is the Appropriations Committee. And it would simply repeal the authority for the issuance and execution of a no-knock search warrant and establishing procedures for the issuance and execution of a search warrant. The first hearing was on the 24th of last month. It's been referred to committee. No word when that judiciary meeting is being held. But that is SB 038. So keep your eye on that one. The next one is legislation to kind of decriminalize cannabis related offenses. It would essentially substitute civil penalties in place of criminal penalties for certain offenses relating to possessing with the intent to distribute and cultivating cannabis and manufacturing cannabis products. The hearing is tomorrow at 1 p.m. And this is what committee is this? I can't. That's not saying. I'll have to look into that. I can't see what committee it's actually a part of. So that will be one of the bills being aired on YouTube tomorrow. So if I'll have the YouTube link to the Senate Judiciary hearings for tomorrow, because SB 1 has its judicial hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m. And I do have the YouTube link for that one. So that'll be in the show notes, and then you can pick which one. You got to pick one to hear. Either the decriminalized cannabis one or the SB 1. And if you don't know what SB 1 is, then you haven't watched any of my previous shows, because SB 1 is pretty much trying to take away our carry permits that we just got back. it would prevent us from carrying in any place of public within 100 feet, I believe, of a public accommodation. So that could be a grocery store, that could be almost anything, right? Any store that you would go into, you couldn't carry. That link will be in the show notes. So I encourage you to find which bill is interesting to you tomorrow. And if you're at work, pull up your YouTube if you can listen to stuff and just listen away. And it'll give you a good glimpse of how stupid most of these people are. That's the best way to put it. A lot of them are really stupid. They don't ask the right questions. And you wonder how they got elected in the first place. So that kind of takes up the state portion of the show tonight. There's so much more. I mean, I can't get into everything every night, or my show would be 5 or 6 hours long. So we have had some national and international news that's noteworthy. I played 99 Left Balloons, not because I love that song. I do like the song. But as most of you know, and if you don't know, then you probably haven't had any... you've been living under a rock for the past few days. But we had that Chinese balloon just float on by pretty much over the entire continental United States. And Biden eventually... or the Pentagon eventually shot it down once it got off the coast. They do plan on recovering the remains of the balloon and studying it to see what it actually was doing. They are saying as of right now that it was a spy balloon, and apparently they scrambled it so that it wasn't giving real-time information to China. But, you know, they could just be telling us that to make us feel good. So that's something to keep our eyes on. There's another one over Latin America that China gave the same excuse, that it just stripped it off course. So these things are floating all over the place, and apparently don't have any control over them. They did say that there was a small amount of explosives on the balloon to... essentially down the balloon once its mission was done. I'm guessing. Could it be nefarious? Could it really truly be a weather balloon that drifted off course? It seems to be that remains to be seen. But China is upset that we shot it down. So China was already kind of, we have a weird tension with China, and now it's just gotten worse. Even just a little bit, but a little bit means a lot with our relationship with China. Another big bit of news that just happened today, Turkey was hit with horrible earthquakes. They're saying the death toll is now up to 3,800 in Turkey and Syria. This was updated 23 minutes ago. The U.S. did send 2 teams of urban recovery teams to help in the process of recovering the dead and trying to find any survivors. If you've seen any videos, it's pretty horrific. The amount of devastation caused from these earthquakes. I don't think it's anything that I've seen in my life. I mean, these buildings just crumbled. So my thoughts are out with the people of Turkey and Syria. It's 3,800 people. That's a lot of people. And as far as national and international news goes, that's all I feel like talking about tonight, honestly. The balloon it's funny, but it's also a little bit scary that our government seemed like they didn't care. So, and hopefully China wasn't just testing us, and hopefully they don't act further. One more bit of something that is definitely worth talking about is the Rage Against the War rally. If you haven't been following them on Twitter or Facebook or keeping up with them, checking the website, we have quite the added speaker to the list. Dr. Ron Paul will be speaking in D.C. in a couple weeks at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. He originally was going to just do a video, but now he's coming in person, which is amazing. We've also added Tulsi Gabbard. She's a bit of a flip-flopper to me, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. If she doesn't flip back to being, a war hawk like she has been in the past, then, I'll give credit where credit's due. So we'll see that. We've added Jill Stein of the Green Party. The Green Party is officially signed on. They took a vote, I believe, yesterday or today, and it barely squeaked by their executive board, but they're joining us. So this is really turning into a big, big deal. So if you can make it, please, please, please come out, because there hasn't been an anti-war movement like this or a rally like this in a really, really long time. So please come out. Please support it. If you can't come out, minimum donation is $5 because we were getting a bunch of $1 donations from some trolls. So we had to change it to $5. But we have hotel room blocked out. Two hotels, I believe. One of them being the Watergate Hotel, which we did on purpose. It's funny. And if you need a bus ride, let me see where it is. You can sign up for bus pickup. We have buses in Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and I think Virginia. Let me see. Yep. Request transportation, and you if you need transportation, you sign up just so the bus companies know how many people they're picking up at each site. And there's a nice map, and it tells you. Here, I'll share it, and it tells you where the pickups actually are. So, yeah, we got Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and I think that might be it. Yeah. So, go ahead to the website. Get on the bus. Get there. Get a hotel room if you have to. Have fun. Make some friends. Network. Listen to some great speakers. If you don't like a speaker, don't listen to them. But there's too many good speakers there to not come just because you don't like a single person. So that is all I have for tonight. Mondays are a crazy night, but I have a meeting of the minds tomorrow with a local group tomorrow. See what they want to talk about. They are primarily a Democrat group. It's an LGBTQ group. So we'll see what they want to talk about tomorrow. And if it's anything worth sharing, I will share it next week. So that's why I'm doing the show tonight. Other than that, I hope I don't get kicked off of YouTube for playing 99 Luft Balloons. That would really suck, actually. And with that, everybody have a good night. Have a good week. If I find the time, I might do a second episode this week. No guarantees. But just so much happening right now that it's almost hard to just get through what I want to get through in a single episode. I I have some good guests lined up. I'm not going to have a guest every week. That was never the idea for the show, but there's a lot of people out there that know what they're doing, that their expertise relates to exactly what the show's about. So I will have those people on. I have one lined up for later in April. She was on the Tom Woods show a couple weeks ago, so that's going to be a awesome guest to have. But she's having her baby kind of soon, so she wants to give herself time. So we're leaving a spot open in April for her, and I'm looking forward to April for that episode because she's a very intelligent woman who knows a lot about the state legislature in Maryland. With that being said, I don't think I have anything else. I keep saying that. So that'll be it for the night. Everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you either later this week or next week.